Good morning. I've set myself a task today, and that is, can I make this ash stave into a longbow within the day? I think it's fair to say that in the heyday of longbow and warbow manufacture, that is in the 14th and 15th centuries, that making a bow in a day was essential. So I think in those days the making of a bow in much less than a day was common practice. They had to meet a price and they had to meet a set of quality standards, just like today. So the question really today is, can I make an ash longbow within a day? This is my ash stave. It was harvested 10 months ago, air dried in an outside shed and then brought indoors. The bark has been stripped some weeks back and it's been trimmed down. The length is 81 inches. Now, I'm not an experienced bowyer. This is only the second ash stave I've worked with. I just want to make this film to demonstrate that it is possible for a beginner or a novice to find and harvest and make a simple ash longbow. Today I shall be using just hand tools to make this longbow, and I'm working in the autumn woods. This young tree is very similar to the one I harvested. It's Fraxinus excelsior, the common ash. Now my first job today will be to work out whereabouts the bow lies within this stave. My plan is to make the back of the bow the actual outside of the stave without any work. It will be the belly that I work down. This is a piece of the stave that I cut off the end to reduce the length down to the working length I require, which is 81 inches. I've marked the stave very approximately where I think the bow will fit. And now I've marked the approximate profile all the way down the back of the bow. Time to start work. I shall be making the initial shape of this bow using this Gerber machete. So that is the very approximate shape of a longbow. So that's the width of the bow, that is the distance across its back, has now been roughed out approximately. The next stage is to create the depth profile all the way along the bow. Now, I'm not working to any dimensions or plans for this bow, but very approximately the width across the back will be about 38mm and in depth around about 25mm at the handle. Once again, I'll be using the Gerber machete. For the next stage, I want to take some of the roughness off this bow, and I shall be using a spoke shave. For the next stage, I'm using a rasp, and I will tidy up the profile all the way up and down the bow. To complete this initial stage of shaping this longbow stave, I'm going to use this, a cabinet scraper. Now, I'm not aiming for a particular draw weight for this bow. I'm going to see where the wood leads me to, but I'd be really happy if it came out between 40 and 50 pounds. So there it is, after about 2.5 hours work in total, the beginnings of an ash longbow. Okay, I'm just coming to the end of the 3rd hour now working on this bow, and I'm going to cut some temporary knocks in the end of the stave. It's just past midday now, and I'm going to fit a temporary string on this longbow and start the tillering process. Well, that's the first bend of this longbow. Time for a cup of coffee. Okay, back to the bow. It needs to bend more towards the tips, so I'm going to do some more work with the spoke shave. Now I'm refitting the string and putting it back on the tiller. So this bow is now beginning to take shape and it's beginning to bend relatively well on the tiller. I think it's time for some lunch. I think now's the time to put a string on it. As you can see, this bow is only going to be a lightweight bow, but I never expected any more from a sapling. Still more work to do on this end of the bow. This bow has got a slight weak spot here, so I'm having to work this limb and the tip of this limb to try and relieve the potential for a hinge. I've now strung the bow to brace height and I'm in the final stages of tillering. So this simple ash longbow is almost finished now. I'm going to use a cabinet scraper to tidy up the bow, to make it look a little bit neater, and then we'll go and use it. Now I estimate the draw weight of this bow to be around about 45 pounds. So there you are. It's now 2:30. It's taken me just 5 hours to make this simple ash longbow. It draws around about 40 pounds at 28 inches. It won't win any prizes, but it is a longbow, and I did make it within a day. And just a little footnote before I go. If you are making your very first bow, there really is no reason to try to make it within a day. I made this video simply to prove to myself that I could do it, and to show you, if you're a beginner, that it is possible. But if you're making your first bow, I do recommend taking your time. There is no rush. You'll get there in the end. Go slowly. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.